I'm going to teach you guys how to throw a perfect spiral in today's video. So all it takes to throw a perfect spiral is basically the position on your hand and the form. So first of all, let's talk about your hand position. So basically, there are two main things in the hand position that you should have. So, well, actually, no, there's three, actually, yeah, three. So, one thing for your hand position on the football is where you're setting your fingers up on the laces. So, me personally, I like to have my third finger, whatever you call this finger, on the second lace, and I like to have my pinky on the next, not this lace, but the next lace after that. So kind of looks like that. You got one gap here and then another gap here. So kind of looks like that. So yeah, you know what I mean. So yeah. But also for your the fingers on the laces, some quarterbacks, well, pretty much a lot, I would say, they like to have their index finger kind of like up at the top of the, like, kind of like near the top of the, like near the tip of the football, because basically what that makes is it kind of gives it more spin. But I don't really get how that gives it more spin. I mean, I literally just like, I mean, for I don't know I don't know what position you guys play in football. I don't know if you even play football. I don't know any of that, but me, I play quarterback, and I know how to throw a ball, you know? Well, obviously everybody does. So, I mean, me personally, I literally, like, when I snap the ball, I literally just put my hands like this into the position I like. Like, I don't even worry about my index finger being, like, at the tip of the football or not. I don't even worry about that. You guys, I mean, you guys can do whatever you want with that tip, but me personally, I just don't even care about it, and I just do whatever. The second thing is your underhand. So basically, if you look at how my hand is placed on the football, you can see that there's a little gap in between there. That's what you need to have in order to create a spiral. Well, actually, that's one of the main things. We are going to get into the third main thing in just here in a second. So this is another really great tip on creating that great spin. I don't really know how, like, it creates the spin, but all I know is that the greatest idea is to just have a little gap in between your palm and the ball. So just like that. If you guys have that, if you practice that for a long time with this grip on the ball, I mean, you'll be throwing good spirals and, you know. But yeah, all right, now we're getting to the third thing. So another thing is basically what you need to have is your index finger. So there's another thing about the index finger, and it's not about having your index finger closer to the tip of the ball. I mean, we already talked about that, obviously. But there is another tip for the index finger. One of the main tips with the index finger is that the last finger that should be on the ball when you release it up here, when you're releasing it like this, the last finger that should come off is the index finger. So it should, like, basically what the index finger does is right when all of your fingers come off the ball except your index finger, it basically creates that spin. So that's all I have for the grip on the ball, your hand position, whatever you guys like to call it. Now we're gonna get into the form. The form is probably the most, well, actually, I would say, I don't know if it's the most important or one of the most important things about creating having a good pass, whatever. But what I really think, in my opinion, is that the form, it's basically for accuracy. So if you want to have good accuracy, you need to have a good form. So that's probably the most important thing. That's the most important thing about being a quarterback is having good accuracy, because if you're not going to have good accuracy, then you're not going to be a good QB. And that's the one thing that's going to ruin people when they're not being a QB. Listen, if you want to be a good QB, guys, you got to have good spirals. And why you should have good spirals is the better spiral you have, the easier it is for people to catch the balls, you know? And the accuracy, obviously that's important too, because if you don't have good accuracy, you're not going to be a good quarterback, because if you don't have good accuracy, you could, if your receiver is taking a shortcut, which is basically they run up a little bit and then they cut like that, that's a shortcut. If they do that, and if you throw it if they're right here, and if the football's way over here, they're not gonna be able to catch that. That's bad accuracy. You have to throw it right where they're gonna. You guys know what I mean, right? But you guys have to have you guys gotta throw it at them so they can catch the ball. That's what good accuracy is. So those are the two main things for just being a good quarterback. Now back to the form. So the form, it's definitely probably the most important thing about being a good quarterback and creating a good spiral. Mostly accuracy, we just talked about that. We're not going to talk about that again. We're going to get into why the form is important. So the form, basically, probably the most important thing about a form is where you're finishing, where you're releasing the ball at. So where you guys should release the ball at is basically at a high point. What I mean by a high point is if you're going for a long pass, you should probably throw it maybe up here a little bit, because most quarterbacks they like to throw it a little bit above their head. And sorry, my mom just walked by. My bad. Anyways, so that's the thing about a form. And so the other thing about having a form is that when not only do you have to keep the ball at a high point, at head level, or at least above your head, but the other thing is that you have to have football. You cannot. You should not release the football back here. You can if you want, if it feels comfortable to you. But most quarterbacks, they release the ball right, a little bit to the right or left of their head a little bit. So kind of right there. And that, I feel that gets the good accuracy in, but that's all it takes, man. So that's all it is to creating a good spiral and being a good quarterback. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.